everyone, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my library. I am here to talk about the books that I want to read in 2020. So before we get started, again, a few housekeeping things. If you could like this video, it would really help out my channel and help with the algorithm. And if you could subscribe, I would love for you to join this chaotic channel. So, I have a list of 21 books that I want to read before the end of the year. A lot of these are books that I've started and I haven't ended up finishing. And then a lot of them are also books that have been on my shelves for a really long time and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I guess these are just the books that I'm really excited about and I really just want to motivate myself to read them. And I figured if I make a video about it, it's likely for me to read them, right? I'm hoping that's how it's going to happen. So let's just get right into it because this is going to be a while. I'm not going to go too much into them because there are a lot of books here to talk about, but I'm just going to speed through them really quickly. Otherwise we'd be here forever. So the first one I have is Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. I started this book. I literally have ribbon as my bookmark. So I made it 126 pages in and I ended up just putting it down. I think because at the time there was a really bad drought going on in Australia and I was like, this is just too close to home, I can't read it. So it just freaked me out a little bit and yeah, I just couldn't end it up. I just put it down and just ended up reading something else. But I do remember what happened in the first part of the book. So I think I'm just gonna dive straight back into this one and hopefully finish it at some point this year. So the next one is Mirage by Samaya Dord. Same thing, I started reading this. Honestly, this is probably where all my bookmarks go that I can't find. I made it 55 pages into this one. I was reading it at some point for a readathon and the readathon ended and I was like, I don't need to read it anymore. But I know that the second one came out last year. So I am really excited to finish this one so I can get onto the second book. Also, the premise of this was really interesting, so I'm not really sure why I didn't end up reading the whole thing, but I'm trash, so that's why. And you're going to see a common theme with all of these books because Strange the Dreamer. I started this book. I am 160 pages in and I just put it down and never picked it back up. It kind of seems to be a habit that I have and it's annoying. It's an annoying habit to have. I got to the part where they just got to weep and it was the best part and I just put it down and I was just So I do want to finish it at some point this year. I just don't know when. I don't know. I felt like the part getting up to weep wasn't enough for me to be drawn into the story. So I was like, well, it can't be much more interesting. But people said everything changes when you get to weep. So hopefully I'm going to finish this. I'm going to have to. I have to finish it. I've already started it. I have to finish it. And then the next book I have, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Same thing. I got 50 pages into this and then I put it down and I didn't pick it back up and I honestly couldn't tell you why. And honestly, I get so mad at myself sometimes. I don't know why I do this and I do it a lot. So another one I want to read. The next one I have is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron. All I know is that this is obviously a Cinderella retelling, but queer. So sign me up. I just want to read it. I bought it towards the end of last year, so it hasn't been on my shelf for as long as a lot of the other books that I have. It just looks really good, so I want to read it. So the next one I want to read is The Bonus Mercies. My friend Shane read this and loved it. And the premise sounds really cool and it's men can't do this sad dark work. And I'm just yeah, women killing people, men not being able to do it. Sign me up. Another one that has been on my list for a really long time is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So Caraval by Stephanie Garber, I've honestly had this on my shelves for so long, and because it has the dust jacket on it, I kind of forget which book it is sometimes, and that the fact that I haven't actually read it before. So I do actually want to read this whole trilogy at some point this year. Where am I going to find the time to read all of these books? I say that, but I read over 100 books a year, and surely I can read 21 that I actually own. The next one I have is Girls of Storm and Shadow I read the first one 2019 with my book club and I really enjoyed it. I think I ended up rating it 5 stars. It was just like super interesting to me and I do want to continue on with the series, so I just... female romance, gotta love it. The next one I have is Before She Ignites by Jodi Meadows. I haven't really heard many people talking about this. I know it's like quite a... I don't even know when it was released. It was released a few years ago now, surely. 2017, so it wasn't even that long ago. But I haven't really heard many people talking about this, but from the look of the cover it looks like there's like dragons and stuff, or like she turns into a dragon of some sort, and I'm here for that, so I do want to read this one. At some point I need to read Renegades by Stephanie Meyer because I still have not started this trilogy, and I'm pretty sure this was on my list for last year and I never ended up reading it. But you know, I'm gonna get to it this year. This year is the year that things happen. I stick to the lists that I make. Probably. I mean, we're still a month. We're not even a month in yet, so... but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. All I know about this is that it follows this guy named Harry who just like... he dies and then he gets like brought back into the same life that he like... so he lives his life like 15 times. So... and then I think he realizes like quite early on that something is happening and he needs to obviously do something in order for himself to not relive the same life over and over. And the idea of it just really intrigues me, and yeah, so I want to read this one. Then we have The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. I have started this one. I ended up borrowing it from my library to begin with, and I couldn't finish it before the book got returned to the library, so I ended up buying the physical copy so that I didn't have that time limit on it, and then I bought it, but then I never picked up where I left off. So I do want to end up finishing this one before the end of the year, probably early on sometime in the first couple of months of the year. I also want to read Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. I had Nevermore as my first book, or as one of my books from last year, and I ended up reading it in the last month of last year. So I do want to continue on with Wondersmith because the first book was really good, and it was like, I just thought it was so intriguing and so enjoyable for a middle grade novel. It was the first middle grade novel I think I've really ever read, and I really enjoyed it. So I do want to continue on with this world and kind of see what happens for the rest of the book. I don't know if I've had The Astonishing Colour of After on my lists before in the previous years, but it's obviously has to be on there because I'm going to read it one day. And I think the only reason why I haven't read it yet is because I'm so concerned that it's such a hard-hitting novel and everyone says that it makes them cry, and I feel like I need to be in a certain mood and I need to kind of be like mentally prepared for that kind of hurt, and I just feel like maybe I haven't. Last year I definitely wasn't in that kind of mood, so maybe this year I'm gonna give it a go. Alright, we're down to the last few, and by few I mean like there's still 7 more. Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. I read Clockwork Angel 2 years ago I think, and I really enjoyed it, but I don't know why. This is what happens. I read the first book or something and then I just never continue, and it's frustrating. So I am currently reading this one, so I think I'm about a quarter of the way through or something like that. I don't really know how far I am, I can't remember, but I'm making some leeway with this one, so that's a thing. Aurora Burning by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I still have not read this. I read Aurora Rising, and I remember everyone raving about it on Instagram, and everyone was saying how much they loved it and how great it was, and I read it and I was like, it was good, I just didn't love it. I just didn't love it. I know I've read The Disasters by M.K. England, and I thought that they were very similar, but I thought that The Disasters was more my kind of book. It had a lot of humor and it was just the sass. I think that's really what made it for me. And so I guess I wasn't as excited to read this one, but I'm definitely, I mean, I've got to read it this year because the 3rd one comes out at some point. I don't know when, but I have to read this before the 3rd one comes out. And then a huge chunk of a book, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I still have Tower of Dawn to read before this one, so I'm putting this one on here because I want to read this one. So obviously I have to read Tower of Dawn first. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to. So I need to finish off this series this year because I read almost all of the other books last year, and I really enjoyed them, much more than I expected to. So this is just such a massive book. I feel like this is going to take me a year to read on its own, so wish me luck, because I need it. The Light Between Worlds by Laura Weymouth. I won this in a giveaway at some point, and again, it's like these sisters go into like a magical world and then they come back to reality, and they kind of just can't cope because they don't want to be in reality. They want to go back to the normal world, and apparently it's really sad and really hard hitting, and I just don't think last year was the year that I was good enough to read this book. So I'm going to give it a go this year and see how much it ruins me. Akani by Lynette Noni. I have read her Whisper book. That's the only book I've read by her, but I absolutely loved it, and I know that a couple of people have recently reread this book on Instagram and have been like loving it, and it's just given me all the vibes that I just need and the inspiration to pick it up, because sometimes you just gotta get pushed into things, and I think that that's what I needed for me to be able to finally pick this book up. So okay, and the last two books I have are the two books that I posted on Instagram to ask people which one I should read next, and then I didn't pick either of them up, which is very on point for me. So the first one, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I am going to be destroyed by this book, I think. There are a lot of trigger warnings in this, basically for everything, and it's not going to be an easy read by any means, and I think that I've hyped this up in my head so much that I'm kind of scared it's not going to meet that expectation, and that's probably why I'm a little bit scared to start it. And then the other one, Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. This one's just giant. I mean, they're both thick books, but like, I just don't know. This one has been a lot of mixed reviews. Like, the first half of it's really slow and then it gets really good, and it's so long. Like, I don't know. It's just, they're both really intimidating books to me, and I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but also reading these books. So this is so many books to read in a year, I feel, and I'm kind of a little overwhelmed at the moment, but I mean, I only have to read not even 2 of them a month, so I think I can do it. I think I can do it, so wish me luck. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!